I'm just gonna kind of go off the cuff. I figure I can provide some sort of like brief summary, like a recount of all the things that happened to me since I first got here, because ooh, the stories I could tell. If that is asked for, sure. And I can go in depth to it at some point, maybe. But I just want to give a quick actual summary of what happened, so there's some sort of like idea of what, like, how everything went down. So if that's something that's interesting to you, then keep watching, obviously. So here's the timeline. I got to Korea in August of 2023. Well, so I came here without a visa. Don't take the things that I did as advice, because I knew at the time that they were reckless and stupid, and I still know that they were reckless and stupid, but something in me knew that it would work out if I did it. So don't take this as a rule book. I'm just telling you what I did. I don't want anything of how I handled any of this to be how people choose to go about doing this. That's my disclaimer. I am not telling you that this is how you should do it. The first like 6 to 7 months of me being here were just so like wild, and so I didn't start to actually feel steady and stable here until March. I came here in August and I didn't feel like any sort of okay until March. Do you hear that humming? There's a humming sound. And it stopped. I knew that you can stay here for 3 months with no visa. Oh, well actually, it was like a mad dash to the finish to get a mail visa in for the H1, which is working holiday. I found out so late, the week that I was supposed to leave, that that's a visa that I could get, because I had to do all this research like on my own. I was like figuring out everything. Like I didn't have anybody that could like tell me how things work or anything. I filled out the application for H1, right? And then I had my parents mail it in, because I would not have had a chance to mail it before I left to come here. So I had my parents mail it in, and I did not think it was gonna work at all. I was like, I had no hopes for it. I didn't hear anything back. And then one day I checked the portal like 2 months into me living here, and it turns out it was approved. So I was approved for the H1 visa, which meant now I had to leave the country to come back under the visa. So I was officially under the visa. Well, so I finished my 3 months here. I stayed at the same Airbnb for 3 months. They were super, super sweet. They really took care of me. It was like an Airbnb where like the host stays in there with you. Like, so it was a family of 3 women. So it was fine. But they were really sweet. They really took care of me. I was just like doing my thing. I was like hanging out, adjusting, figuring out how things work, studying, having lots of crises, doing a lot of freaking out and thinking a lot, and it was a really stressful time, but not as stressful as it would get. We'll get there. So that was the first 3 months. I hung out with some people, I did some fun things, met some people that I don't talk to anymore, but they were like other foreigners that you meet on like Facebook groups and stuff. I did all that, explored, did some fun stuff, had a lot of character development. So I finished my 3 months here, then I had a ticket to Japan. So I went to Japan for a couple of days. I stayed in Osaka, it was lovely. This was the end of October. I think it was October into November, I think. And I stayed there for a couple of days at another Airbnb. She was super, super sweet. I would recommend her place. So I stayed there in Japan for 2 days, and I came back on the 3rd day, officially under the H1 visa. So I was on working holiday for another November, December, January, February. So I was on the working holiday for 4 months. So in that time that I was on the working holiday, I was homeless for like the entire first 6 months of me being here. But then I was really homeless. Like I was staying in Goshiwons. And that's the thing that gives me flashbacks and makes me like shudder. I'm like, I have to like stop and be like I have to, like, that's the thing. Remember a couple of videos ago when I said like I think back and shudder? That's the phase that I think back and shudder. Oh my god, it was so bad. Oh my god, it was so bad. Oh my god, it was so bad. I would not wish living like that on anybody. Like, I don't regret it because it brought me to where I am now, or like it helped to bring me to where I am now. So I don't regret it, but I would not wish it on anybody. It's such a terrible way to live. And I was doing that for a couple of weeks, and then some friends that I met here, bless them. There just happens to be somebody here who lives here, who grew up here for half of his life. I mentioned him. I actually mentioned him. Wait, did I ever make that video though? I don't know if I mentioned him when I was filming once. We went to the same college, but he grew up here for half of his life, and he lives here now. So him and his wife took me in for about a week, more south in the country, I don't want to say where, and they helped me get sorted with my last ditch plan for like when I started to run out of money, because I came here with a certain amount of savings, and then that started to run out. So, and then I came back to Seoul and stayed in again for a couple, I don't know exactly how long, another week or two. And then in December, I stayed in another Airbnb. I stayed there for like a month-ish while I continued to get stuff settled. And then I secured a job. I have a friend who lives in Japan, stayed with them for like a week-ish over Christmas, and that was really fun. And then I came back, and then it was New Year's. And then after the New Year, I found out that that job decided to release me from the contract because I don't know, someone who already worked there wanted to re-sign their contract for another year, I guess. Did a few interviews, I had some job offers. I took one, I had to get some more stuff ready for like immigration stuff. Since I was doing that, I needed to submit like a resident thing. Like I had to have like a residence that I had. And since I didn't have my own residence, because I didn't have an ARC yet, and we'll get to that, I needed my hosts to like sign for like, I am a resident here, but they were being difficult. The ones that, the place that I was currently staying at, so I had to pick up and move somewhere else. But this is okay, this is good, because this was a crucial event in the butterfly effect of things that led me to some really good things, like living here. So I had to find a new place to live. So I went on Airbnb and I found a new place to live, but here's the thing. I had to message this person, this host, to say, hi, I'm a foreigner. I need a place to live and I need the host to sign for this is this person's current residence, okay? If I stay at your Airbnb, would you be willing to do that for me? And they were like, maybe. I have to meet you first. So that was a little, like, that was like the big wrench in that part, because I was like, meet a stranger? I don't know. So I was like really on the fence about that. So I was kind of being difficult with them at the time. It's all good now because like we're in good terms. Like I'm sure if I messaged those hosts right now on Kakao, they'd be like, oh, hey, oh my God, hi, how's it going? Like we should meet up. I was like, oh, I really, like I can't meet, I don't think that I can do that. And they were like, well, I can't give you these papers and all these things unless I meet you, because they're trying to be smart. They're trying to not get scammed too. And I totally understand how I sounded sus on that end as well. So I was like, okay, I understand where they're coming from. Like the reason that they want to meet up does not sound sketch. So I asked my friend's partner if she would come into the city to meet this person with me. And she said yes. So she came into the city, we met up, we went to like the agreed meeting place. This nice lady comes over and greets us, and she was like, are you you? And I was like, yes. Are you you? And she was like, yes. And she brought me to her hair studio. She has a hair studio, and that's where we talked. Turns out she also brought a friend, because we're all ladies. So now we're 4 ladies verifying each other's identities. And she was like, she wanted to ask me like why exactly I needed all these things. We explained, and eventually she's like, yes, I can do that for you. And so I decided to pick up, move to her residence, her Airbnb. She signed the papers, I got what I needed, and yada, 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 so on and so forth. I stayed there for like a month. I got to that Airbnb. Turns out the new job that I found also decided to cancel the contract because somebody else decided to renew their contract, and so they didn't need me anymore. So that happened 2 times. But my recruiter contacted me and she said, the other place you interviewed for still wants you. So that's where I worked for a year. So from February to March, I just vibed for like a month because I was just like waiting for like my new place to be ready. I moved to a new place since I had a job, was able to get my ARC. I had a job, visa, and I had a new residence that I was able to stay at, like, and have like as my, like as an apartment. And it wasn't an ideal place. I didn't really like that location that much. I just didn't, like, it just wasn't in like my desired place, but it was close to the place that I worked at the time. And that was my new apartment from March until February. Recently, this February, this past February, like that's like, we jump all the way. So in that year, a lot of like, that was like a really good year, not for the job. I didn't like the job. Like the work environment was just like really, but anyway, so lifestyle wise, like that was a really good year. Like I really liked 2024. So for that stretch of time, I did a lot of reading in the park, listening to music. I did a lot of commuting because it was like an hour away from like the place that I like to hang out and everything, which is actually the neighborhood that I live in now. I worked really hard at work, and then I would just like really chill. Like I was just vibing. I would do yoga, read my books, listen to music, play video games in my free time. I actually had like, I started to get some friends, like real like solid friends that I would like hang out with outside of work and stuff. So it was at this point that things really started to like look up and be really solid. And from then on, like I didn't have to worry anymore. And so like that was the last time that I had to stress or be worried about like instability. And so that was really, really nice. And I just like spent that time just like really enjoying being able to settle down and have a place that was my home, like where I lived and where I stayed, being able to like have my own space. I lived nearby some friends, and it was really, really good. It was like, it gave me a chance to start to feel like I have a place here, and it made me feel like I can like carve out my space, my own little space, and build my own little life here. And it was really, really important. It was really impactful for me being able to build some kind of like foundation here, something that made me feel like I have something to build on, and confidence, and again, feeling like I have a place here. That was that for like a year. I did that. I did a lot of fun stuff. Went to concerts. I think I went to 4 concerts that year. Oh, I also joined, so in this year, that year from March to February, I joined language classes. I started taking Korean classes because it was like the first thing that I saw that like they're free classes at the Global Village Center, free language classes, and I've been taking those since May. Met some really nice people, made some friends. I'm still taking them now. I have another class on Tuesday. Then winter came. Ugh. When the weather starts to get colder, that's like genuinely so bad for me. Like it just stresses me so much when the weather starts to get cold. But the weather didn't actually start to get cold until like the end of October. Did a lot of networking, made some friends through networking, which is the most important part for me. Like I am so craving like having friends who like share my passion for music and stuff like that. And that like happened gradually from like the end of summer into winter time, like December-ish. And then I had to start worrying about, I knew that I didn't want to stay at that current job. And at that point, like once January came, I had to start thinking about what I was going to do next. So I had to find a new job. So that was when I started to like kind of like really start scrambling of like what I was going to do, like applying to new places, looking for new places to work, and looking for new apartments. And so, you know, A came to B, and then now I work in the place that I currently work, which is fine. It's a way to make money. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. I appreciate it for what it is. I'm still working for more. How should I continue? Oh, I moved into this place like a little bit before I finished my last job. I feel like I'm kind of starting to lose the plot. Got a new job, new apartment, picked those out in January. That was settled in January. And then in February was again like when I started to like get a lot of stuff settled. I started moving in my stuff here. Here's the story time of how I got this place, because I got really lucky. Remember the Airbnb host that wanted to meet me before she would sign like stuff? She was really important because while I was staying at her house, she like had like a friend. So she was like, oh, let's have like a little visit. She asked her friend, can I bring somebody along? And so she was like, yeah. So we exchanged contact info, and I don't remember exactly like what made me think to do this, but at some point I reached out to them. I was like, hi, would you have any advice for me on how to like find an apartment, how to like find somewhere to live? And they were like, actually, we have a friend who is a realtor. So they were like, she specializes in this neighborhood. We can help you find some apartments in the area. And so I was like, yeah, awesome. That's actually amazing. So sure. We met up with the realtor. She showed me some places. Some of them were fine. Some of them were really not very good. And the realtor agreed. She was like, I visited her office again the next week and she showed me some places. One of them was this place. I was like, so I live here now. I was like, the location could not be more perfect. It's like in like a residential sort of area, but not the middle of nowhere. It's close to the park. It's close to a lot of nice cafes, a lot of really good restaurants. So it's really, really good. And that's why it was so important, because like if that Airbnb host wasn't difficult, I wouldn't have met my new host, which helped me meet these people who introduced me to the realtor who found me this place. So yeah, I'm working now in my second stable job. I'm living in my own apartment. I got my ARC a long time ago, but I was recently able to update the address and everything. I moved into my new place. I work at a new job. I'm still networking and reaching out to places and companies just to like keep my options open and everything. Some places I sent like my portfolio and stuff, and they were like, wow, I think your stuff is really, really good. I think if we have like a video producer position open, when that opens, we think you'd be good. Or they're like, oh, we're not looking for a position that you would fit right now, but we really like your stuff and we'd like to keep in touch. So that sort of stuff. Like, I think I'm starting to sort of like get good rapport with some people, and I'm just like building and building and building and doing work and, you know, trying to be my best self and everything like that. I'm still studying the language, of course. It took a lot to get here. It was really, really hard. It was really hard. Like, getting to this point that I'm at now has been the hardest, most arduous journey that I've been on in my life. Like, I think anybody can say that doing something like this, moving to a new place and starting to get settled, is like, this has been like the hardest thing that I've ever had to do, but it's the best decision that I ever made, and I still stand by that. I made the decision to move to Korea 2 years ago, and I have not regretted it a single bit since. Not a single bit. That's not to say that it's never been hard or challenging or scary or nerve-wracking or lonely, but I don't regret it even a little bit. Like, I still stand by it. It is the best decision that I ever made because I knew it was right for me. I knew it was the right path for me, and I still do. That's what I meant when I like said, like, I'm proud of where I am today. I'm gonna continue to try to be my best self. I'm still studying, I'm still networking, I'm still trying to like meet people and keep hopes high. So fast forward through everything, I acknowledge that it all happened, and I'm ready to leave it behind. I'm good. That's my like summary of my story since I got here. So this August will be 2 years since I got here. That's it. Oh man. Oh, glad that that's over with. It's all good. And again, like, if there's anything specific that people want to know, like the nuances about, I'm happy to talk more about it and maybe insert some like videos of some stuff that I've gotten here that I've like taken while I've been here. Like, there's just so much to cover. There's so much to talk about. I've been like, the stories that I could tell, it's the most wild story. Thank you so much for like tuning in at all. If you're listening up until this point, wow, thank you so much. I'm honored to have your attention for this long. I'm glad that it's done. Thank you again so much for giving me your attention for this long if you're watching, or if maybe you skipped through until the end. That's still better than just turning the video off, I guess. I appreciate you, and I appreciate me. I hope you have a nice day. Follow your dreams, folks. I'd love to talk about the book that I'm reading one day. Somebody please ask me about it, because I could talk about it for a long time. I could talk about these books for a long time.